Fans, welcome to another episode of Xtreme Memories. Of course, they're on the 15th and the 30th of every month. Where are they at? Right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel. Please like, please comment, please share, and please subscribe to the Wrestling Chatter on YouTube. The more subscribers we get, the more great content we can bring to you. Now, hey, you've seen The Stepfather, you've seen Robbie Phoenix, Carnage, Sexy Chino, guys that were behind the scenes, guys that were training, putting it all on the line at the XPW training school, the Asylum. This is Mr. California. This guy's become a bit of a hardcore wrestling persona in professional wrestling, but we talk about where it all started, and that was behind the scenes at XPW, the Asylum. Dynamite D gets brought up a lot. When this guy was little kids trying to sneak in to the LA Sports Arena to see XPW. And we talk all about that and where he is now. This is Mr. California on Xtreme Memories.
This episode, we're talking, yep, that's right. You see him right there. Who is this guy? Everyone's asking. Well, when you talk about XPW, you're talking about the early days, the infancy days of this guy right here, where it all started. And he's gone on to other things, which we will talk all about on this episode of Xtreme Memories. We want to thank all you fans for joining us here on the Wrestling Chatter. Welcome to Xtreme Memories. Oh, Mr. California, how are you, pal?
Oh snap!
There it is. There it is. That's what we're waiting for. The moniker, the slogan, the trademark of Mr. California with the oh snap.
There you go, brother.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. California, welcome to Xtreme Memories. Why is he so? Well, I'll get to these questions in a sec, but we want to talk about you because we've had other guests on Xtreme Memories. Guys like The Stepfather, guys like Sexy Chino, even guys like Robbie Phoenix, who were instrumental in the background. You guys were the ones training at the Asylum, the XPW Training Academy. We'll talk all about that. But welcome, Mr. California, Marvin, to Xtreme Memories.
Oh man, you said my government name, man. What's up with that, brother?
Oh, are we supposed to cut that out?
No, that's good, man. That's right, man. Man, I know you for a long time, brother. Hey, thank you for having me on the show, brother. I am a big fan of your show. I've been watching this since the beginning, brother.
Thank you, bro. It means a lot. And man, we're gonna get into how we cross paths in the business and all that. Obviously, starting with XPW back in the day when you were training. We'll get into all that. Your trainers, everything. Let's kick it off, though, Marvin. Oh, excuse me, Mr. California. Let's talk really quick about how it all started for you. Before XPW, were you a fan of wrestling growing up? How did you start getting into it, liking wrestling as a fan?
Oh man, I've always been a fan, brother. You know what? I tell this story to a lot of people all the time. You know, I must have been like, I think 3 or 4 years old. You know, my aunt, you know, she was a fan too of wrestling. She actually put a television in front of me. I didn't know who these big people were, like these big athletes wrestling each other, like, you know, like the Hulk Hogan's, the Andre the Giants, brother, the Macho Mans, all that stuff. I was watching these big gladiators just toss each other around, brother, and I didn't know what it was, and instantly like that, I fell in love with it. You know what I'm saying?
I can totally relate, man, as most all of us are and that are in the business. What was your first live wrestling show you ever went to?
Live wrestling show, I had to be, brother. It was a WWF house show, brother.
Okay. And, LA Sports Arena?
Yeah, brother. There you go. Yeah, that was probably one of my I went to independent shows too, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, yeah, big leagues, yeah, WWF.
Okay, cool, man. And then now fast forward, prior to your training, obviously starting at the Asylum, starting at the XPW Training Academy. How did you first hear about XPW, and what was the first show you went to, XPW show?
Brother, I'm going to take you way back, brother. Remember the show, the slogan, brother? And then there was 4. Remember that one?
Yeah.
I think the main event was what, Shane Douglas versus Chris Candido. That's when Sabu made his debut, wasn't it?
I
I
believe,
think he
yeah,
ran
that's
in.
right.
He ran in. He ran in like towards like the beginning of the match, or when they were cutting a promo or something like that.
Yeah. No, that was
actually. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Actually, it was me, my brother, and one of my friends. I used to see XPW all the time, religiously, brother, on KDOC. Remember that when it was on KDOC? Yeah, I used to watch it. I think it was Saturday nights, maybe like around 11 or midnight.
Yeah, it was actually first it was KJLA, then it moved to KDOC. Yeah,
right. That's when I started watching it. Yeah, and then I used to watch it, and then I actually saw you, brother. You came on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Talking about the Asylum, talking about the shows and XPW TV. You know what I'm saying? And like I was like, who's this guy? You know what I mean? I was like, it was Kris Kloss. You know what I mean? I was like, I didn't know who you were, but then after that, little by little, I started knowing everybody. You know what I'm saying? Because I was used to watching like ECW. I used to watch ECW. I used to watch stuff like that, and then like I never thought there was going to be like an ECW version of here in the West Coast, and hold to be found. It was XPW, man.
Yeah, and that was interesting because when you said like, yeah, we were on at 11 p.m. and it couldn't have been a better time slot because it was WWF, Jacked or whatever the show was. Then at 10 o'clock, then it was XPW at 11, followed by ECW at 12 midnight. So I mean, it was a whole block of wrestling at that time. And so you watched the shows on TV, you found out about XPW, and you went, so the LA Sports Arena, I mean, those were some memorable shows. Like you said, big names came in. And at that time, when you came to XPW as a fan, did you already decide to go to the Asylum, or did that come later? And how did you find out about getting involved in the Asylum?
You know, I'll be honest with you, like every independent wrestler or every like major wrestler talks about it. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to do the backyard wrestling. I did a couple of things in the backyard, and I developed that death match extreme style. But then I was getting hurt. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't taking me nowhere. And I said, you know what, like. When I saw you come out, I remember you came out and you said, "Hey, fat boy, drop the cake, drop the thing. You know, join. You want to be a professional wrestler? You know, come join the Asylum." I was like, "Holy shit, what is he talking about?" You know, so I said, "This is what I want to do." You know, what I mean, I should join. You know, and I remember calling the offices back when it was. Remember, it was in Van Nuys. Remember?
Yes, right by the Van Nuys Airport.
Right. I remember calling that, and I remember talking to Sean. Remember Sean?
Yep, I remember Sean.
Yeah, Sean. He was like, you know, one of the guys who used to work for Rob Black, and I remember talking to him. Yeah, I was talking to him on the phone, and I told him I wanted to join. So yeah, man, he's like, let me pass you to the late great, rest in peace. So Dynamite D, and that's the first time I talked to Dynamite D on the phone. You know, Darren McMillan, and he told me, yeah, he's you want to join, man? You know, just get some knee pads. You know, yeah, you have some wrestling shoes, wrestling boots, whatever you have. You know, come down and you know, he told me how much it was going to be a month, and he told me how much I had to get down. I had to sign a contract and stuff like that, and that was it. And first, he told me to come meet with them. You know what I mean? And I went down to the offices. I met with them. But see, I was only 17 years old, brother. I was underage. You know what I mean?
You're right.
So I remember, yeah, I went down with my mom and dad, and then what do you call it? I went down with them, and then you know, like I was in high school. I was like almost in my senior year in high school, and I remember I was about to turn 18, and then but he told me, "Oh, you got to have your parents' permission because you're underage right now." You know what I mean?
Wow. And were you the youngest one then in the Asylum?
No, it's funny because I was 17, but then when I joined, I turned 18. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
So but at the time when I was about to sign the contract and give the down payment and all that stuff, he told me you got to have parents' permission because you're 17 right now. You know what I mean?
Wow, man. So were you the youngest guy in there?
I think so.
Yeah.
In my class, I remember it was only 3 of us in my class. You know, when I started, before there was 2 other classes before me. You know what I mean?
Okay. So what was like talking about joining the Asylum? How was that? Like, let's say your first day of training, was it everything you expected? Did you learn a lot of like, oh, some secrets that, wow, I never knew this before, and I'm kind of getting all this inside knowledge, and also your classmates in the asylum. How was the overall experience working and learning about the craft?
Like I told you, I did a little bit of background. I used to watch a lot of WWE, ECW, and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And like, I kind of like learned, I learned like a little bit of wrestling through just watching. When you watch stuff, you learn stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I remember when I got there, and then D's all, "Do you know how to take a bump?" And I said, "Yeah, I know how to take a bump." He's all, "Really? Show me." And I took the bump. You know what I'm saying? And he was impressed. He's like, "Oh, wow, you know how to take a bump?" He's like, "Are you trained?" He's like, "Have you trained before?" I was like, "No, man." I was like, "Just self-trained." You know what I mean? Watching. He's all, and then and he told me, "Well, you know how to take a bump." He's like, "Do you know how to lock up?" And yeah, I knew how to lock up too. And then after that, he's like, "Do you know how to run the ropes?" And then I didn't know how to run the ropes, brother, because I never had a ring. I was never in a ring.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and then he's like, "Oh, so you don't know how to run the ropes? So you're not trained." He's like, "So you're self-trained." He's all, and he kind of got a little bit upset because he's probably saying like, "Oh, this guy thinks he knows it all, but he doesn't. He doesn't even know how to run the ropes." You know what I'm saying? But he seemed kind of mad a little bit. But after that, he took me like under his wing, and he said, "Okay, you know what, man, it's okay. You know a little bit, but I don't want you to come in here and say you know it all. You know what I'm saying? I want you to,
Right.
You're here to train." And I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna start from the bottom and up." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that's what happened. You know what I'm saying? And I learned how to run the ropes, and I was taking the bumps, and then doing all that stuff. You know.
So that was man, and talk about a first teacher to have, man. Dynamite D. I mean, that guy, he's so respected after he's been gone, of course, but even at the time, like the guy was a wealth of knowledge. And did you learn a lot from him? And also, Marvin, Mr. California, also talk a little bit about that, but also talk about some of your memories of D, not just as your trainer, but just in general. Any stories that you could think of.
I mean, I'm not gonna forget that. I think it was like one time, what do you call it? We were training, and then he was telling me, "You have to sell more. You have to have, more affection, brother." You know what I mean? And I remember I was selling. He's like, "You sell good." He's like, "But I want more affection." You know what I'm saying? And I remember he got me. He put me in the freaking figure four, brother, and he started like on my knee, brother. He started like smacking my knee, like legit smacking it. You know what I mean? And I remember him telling me, he's like, "I'm not gonna stop till you freaking sell, and like you're really in pain, and you want to cry." You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I remember he swole my knee, brother, got swollen. Because he took the knee pad off and he started like really smacking it, punching it, smacking it, and I sold like a mother. You know what I mean? That day, and I'll never forget that, man. I was like, man, he actually taught me how to sell like crazy. You know what I mean? Because he actually beat it out of me. You know what I mean? I remember, and I always thank him for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like, I mean, he was a tough trainer, but I think a lot of people that know. Oh, there he is. There now we see.
No.
A lot of people that knew him, very fair, very nice guy, but he could flip the switch and get very serious in there. No.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, he could, man. He was a real nice guy, but when it came into the ring and it came to his craft, his work, he was like, "You take no prisoners, brother." You know what I'm saying? He meant business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's almost like some guys, let's say they're generally assholes, whatever, and then they're like, let's say they're like that in the ring. You don't know the difference, but with D, like you said, he was just one of the nicest guys. So when he did flip the switch, it was so obvious. You could see the change. Like when you said it, he took it very seriously.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was a great guy, man. He like, and you know what was cool about Darren is like he loved his students, man. He treated us like we're his kids. You know what I'm saying? Like he's like I like you guys and individually, and I like how you do it, and he looked out for us. You know what I'm saying? When other people didn't. You know what I mean?
And now I used your government name, and you just use his. You called him Darren. That's his government name, man.
Oh man, here we go.
Yeah.
And your government name is Chris, brother. You're really
Yeah, I
Chris.
know. I'm using it's kayfabe and shoot. But let me ask you this. So you're training there. You're literally learning the ropes, and
Right.
you're pretty young. Like you said, you came in
Yeah.
at 17. You started when you're 18. Still very young.
Straight out of
Getting a
high school,
lot.
man. Straight out of high school. Straight out of high school.
Right. This is like, and all the other kids went to college. This is your college right here, man.
Yeah, this is
You
it,
know.
man. This is it. You know what? Funny story, Chris. My mom and dad told me they're like, what do you want to do? You're about to graduate from high school. What do you want to do? You're gonna get a job. You're gonna go to continue college and stuff like that. And you know what? I looked at them and I want to be a professional wrestler, and they started laughing at me. You know, I mean, they're like, "What? A professional wrestler? Like that's what I want to be." And they're, you know what, son? Okay, we're behind you. Let's do it. If that's what you want, let's do it. You know what I mean?
That's pretty awesome, man. It's such a big help, and I thank my family too for, because a lot of people, they don't have that, and we've worked with a
No.
lot of people that, we're all in the same industry. We're in the same, basically a circus, lack of a better word. And there were a lot of people that I've met throughout the years that I could tell, and they confide to me, they just didn't have that support system. They were still doing it. They were carrying out their dream, but there was some people just had something missing, and that was so valuable, dude. And good tributes to you and your folks for basically operating like that, especially going for something like this and beyond. We're going to talk about that because you kind of took it to the next level, emulating guys like late great Supreme. We'll get into that because you went beyond the Asylum, that's for sure. Now, did you ever? I know D was your primary trainer, but were you also? Did you ever get trained by Damian Steele, the other trainer, at all?
No, I think he wasn't like I think he wasn't like doing the training no more when I started wrestling. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, when I
Okay.
started training.
Okay, cool. And then so, look, like a lot of people that are at the office back in the day, when you were there, a lot of stuff was happening, but at night it turned into the wrestling time. And that's when
Yeah,
we shot XPW TV. That's when you guys were just getting done with your training. But there were a couple times where you're kind of familiar in the office, you're familiar at the shows, and you're basically part of XPW. But before we get into, like, let's say what you were going to do potentially in the future with XPW, you had a couple TV spots like Sexy Chino did, or the Stepfather. What were how many spots did you have on XPW TV? Because I remember the one where like they used you and there was a letter on your chest and you were cut open in Rob's office. Remember that?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
so do you remember what that entailed exactly? What the storyline there
No,
was?
no, I don't recall. Man, I get hit on the head too many times, but I forget things. You know what I mean? That was a long time ago too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you really gigged. I remember that.
Yeah,
You really
yeah,
drew blood, and you didn't have any lines because you were knocked out cold in the office, and it was just like it was like a mafia moment. It was like the
right,
dead body had a warning on in a letter,
right, right.
and
Yeah,
that's how Rob was. He kind of emulated that whole mafioso kind of attitude within the XPW TV in a way. Um,
yeah.
you got you You have an interesting story, Mr. California, and I want to bring this up because you shared it with
Yeah,
me, and when you brought it
I
up
did.
to me, it kind of rekindled my memory to where I vaguely remember this story, but it had to do with kind of like backstage locker room etiquette and not doing certain things that the big bosses, let's say, don't want you to do because you're now exclusive with XPW, right? But you had a
Yeah,
different spin on it because, okay, you're exclusive with XPW, but you're not featured. You're not a television personality yet, but they still held that in high regard, even for someone in your position. Now, what we're talking about is, and I know if you want to fill in the blanks, but it was something where you kind of went off and did something on your own with another wrestling independent company, right?
yeah,
Can you
yeah.
can you
Well, I
kind of,
mean,
it's from the beginning, kind of.
yeah, I mean, it's like I mean, I was training, and you know, and I was like, you know what, like it's like the course was, I guess the course was a year and a half. You know what I mean? To
Yep.
so you can graduate, and then they promise a contract in the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what Rob and Kevin and all them, man. That's what they stated. You know what I mean? And then I was like, I was getting close to the end. You know what I mean? I wasn't seeing nothing. I was like, you know, I don't know if is there gonna be anything. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, then a wrestler approached me, and they asked me, hey, you wanna do a show? You know, I was like, he's like, how long you been training? I was like, oh, I'm almost like a year, man. You know, I've been doing it now. And then he gave me an opportunity, and then I met a promoter named Vince, and then he had a company called SCWA. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then Southern Wrestling, what was it? No, Southern Championship Wrestling Alliance, I think it was called. Yeah.
Okay.
And then I remember he approached me and said, hey, you want to do a match? And actually, funny that the guy that got me booked is now a big time AEW superstar, brother. He goes by the name of Scorpion Sky Andrews.
Ah, yes.
That's who got me booked. And actually, I wrestled him in my debut match back in
wow,
we're talking about 2001, almost close to 2002. Okay. Talking about several years back. And then but I was still training under XPW Asylum. You know what I mean? So I remember doing the match, and I wrestled Sky 1-on-1, but his name was Skylar Andrews. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, but he wasn't Scorpion Sky. He was Skylar Andrews.
Yeah,
and,
Scorpio. Yeah.
Yeah, and I wrestled under my gimmick name, Mr. California. But it wasn't no death match. It wasn't no hardcore match.
Okay, now the first day back, coming into XPW offices, you're training the Asylum. You were met and greeted with some unhappy faces, and this is where it gets very interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I got to training, and I was doing the training. You know, I mean, and I did the whole training thing with D. D didn't say nothing. He didn't tell me anything. You know what I mean? But if you like, I was about to say that infamous garbage website called SoCal Uncensored, brother. That no one really likes. They don't like me. I don't like them, brother. You know what I mean? They put up the results. They always put the results up of every independent show in Southern California. So they put the results up, and it said Scorpion Sky Andrews over Mr. California. And then I remember after the thing was over, the training, D's like, hey, don't go. Rob and Kevin want to talk to you. I was like, all right, cool. You know, I didn't really reminisce, you know, about that. Yeah. Then I remember Kevin Clammer coming out with a piece of paper, the results of that event. You know what I mean? And he goes, hey, Marvin. And so I remember Kevin, Rob Black got on top of the apron of the ring. You know what I mean? So they were hanging. And they're like, and then Kevin Clammer's like, oh, he started reading the results. And he's like, oh, well, Scorpion Sky Andrew over Mr. California. Aren't you Mr. California? He's like, ain't that your gimmick? Ain't that your character? And I said, yes, it is. I'm like, it is my character. And that's when Rob came into the picture. He's all, do you know you belong to us? He's all. And I was like, excuse me? No, I don't belong to you, brother. I'm like, no. He's like, yeah, you're under contract. Remember when you signed the contract in the beginning to enter this course in this wrestling school? I was like, yeah, I remember. He's all, well, you said that in line that you belong to us. You're property of XPW. And I was like, I'm not property of XPW, man. You know, I don't even work for you guys. You know what I mean? I'm just a student. And then I remember Kevin saying, like, so, you know, Marvin's all answer the questions. Did you wrestle, or is that another Mr. California? And I said, no, it's me, man. And yeah, I did wrestle, and I'm sorry, you know, I wanted to work, and you guys ain't giving me a contract. You guys ain't giving me opportunities. I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I want to wrestle. This is my dream. You know what I mean? He's like, who said we're not gonna give you one? He's all, but you gotta finish the course, and you know, due time, you gotta pay your dues. I understand that, but I took it on my own, and I wanted to wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
then I remember Rob Black said, well, you know, like, you know, you got to pay the consequences, man. He's like, what do you mean? And I remember just getting, I remember Supreme came out, the Messiah came out, Chaos came out, and the only thing I just remember is Dynamite D fucking punching me. He punched me. I went down. They just started stomping on me, kicking me. I remember Supreme hitting me with a chair. I remember Messiah hitting me with, I don't remember what he hit me with. And I remember that they took me to the back of the alley and there was a bunch of pallets, brother, and like stuff. And I remember, what do you call it, Messiah giving me a DVD through one of them. Then they fed me to Supreme, and Supreme power bombed me through one of them, man.
Dang. What about Chaos? Did Chaos take any
I don't
liberties?
know. I think he just punched me or something. You know, he hit me a couple times. You know what I mean?
Now you did tell me when you first told me the story that D. Yeah, you said he was had the first shot, but he kind of of all of them he kind of went the lightest, kind of like right.
But you know, between me and you, Kris, you know, rest in peace, his soul and everything. But he kind of stepped away.
Yes,
like
right. That's right.
I'm you know, I was like kind of like his son, you know what I mean? He stepped away, and he didn't want nothing to do with it, you know what I'm saying? And then he's just like Chaos, Messiah, and Supreme go to town on me, you know what I mean? But he was I remember watching and looking towards him, and he was like kind of like shaking his head, so I'm like, man, it's fucked up, you know what I mean? Why are you doing this to this kid, you know what I mean?
So man, so that was a big taste of the old school right there, man. Like this,
you know what's funny? That XPW Asylum was notorious and known for a reputation of them beating you up, hitting you, throwing you on thumbtacks, hitting you with chairs if you didn't listen, and all that was true, man. Yeah, I lived it and I was in it. You know what I'm saying? And people to this day go like, people ask me in locker rooms, or people ask me, "Hey, you trained at the XPW Asylum?" I was like, "Yeah, I did. And I'm proud of it." You know what I mean? That's where I came from. And is it true what they used to say about it? I was like, it's all true, man, and more, man.
Yeah, it's you can't make this up, and I witnessed a lot of it too. I mean, being in the office and all that, and I mean, I had to get taken in the ring early days, and they gave me a bunch of chops, just like an initiation. You know, my chest was bleeding, dude. But that was one time. But you guys really did all the work. But no, man, this was kind of like, you know, like now with kayfabe being kind of teetering. During the times of XPW, it was still going on, but it was we didn't realize it at the time, but it was basically the very end of kind of that old school pay your dues, rough house, and also, you know, keeping the traditions of this is how you get in, this is how you pay your dues, and it was alive and well at the asylum.
Oh yeah, it was, man. It was what do you call it? That school had a reputation, but it was true, and if you didn't listen to what they said, listen to Rob or listen to D or whatever, they took it out on you, and they showed you a lesson. You know what I mean?
Unbelievable, man. Man. So I mean, what a great learning experience that was. Like at the time, it seemed like hell, but after a while, do you see, looking back on that, how valuable and beneficial that was to you and to?
I mean, at first I was young, you know. I mean, I was like 18, you know, like I was a young kid, and I remember I just like, why are they doing this to me? You know what I mean? I didn't do anything to these guys, you know what I mean? I was like, you know what? It's like, it's a tough lesson, you know. It's tough love, you know, tough love in this business, and I'm grateful for it. You know what I mean? I got that story, and I'll tell that story to everybody. You know what I mean? And I remember another podcast we did. I told that story. I remember you with your eyes were like you were watching everybody listen to the story, and you were tripping out. Remember? I'll never forget that.
Yeah, because and shout out to the Red Bat, youtube.com/the Red Bat, the Los Batos Locos podcast. Check them out. And yeah, man, because I had heard that story before, and when you were telling it, I was just kind of watching everyone, and everyone's kind of talking. Once you were halfway through the story, everyone's quiet, like, damn, dude, Supreme, Messiah, Chaos, Dynamite D. So, and Rob and Kevin, you know, witnessing the whole thing, basically ordering the whole thing to happen.
Oh yeah.
But again, those were the final days, really, that we got to experience of that old tradition of, you know, again, rough house. You better be tough to be in this business, and you just don't see that anymore.
Oh no, man, you don't see that no more at all in any school no more. You know, there's some good schools. I mean, the only one close to it will probably be the Santino Bros. You know what I mean? Okay. That's run by Chaos and Mongo. I mean, but they will never come close to XPW the way they were. You know what I mean?
Right. Shout out to the Santino brothers, Mongo and Chaos, Sylvia. Let me ask you, outside of the well, you shared a lot right there of D, but can you give us like tell the fans like just some stories outside of training, outside like when practice was over? You said it, man. He took you in like a son, and he was one of the great ones, man. In and out of the ring. Your overall memories of that guy.
Of Darren, I mean, he was just a great trainer, man. He's like he fully trained me, man. He taught me everything that I know. I mean, a lot of people know me for the death matches, for the violence, for the blood and guts. But I mean, few people see me wrestle, and I know how to wrestle, man. You know, I mean, I've been in the ring with guys that I know how to lock up. I know how to do chain wrestling and all that. And I thank him for that. You know what I mean? He's the one who taught me. And people say like, oh man, you know how to wrestle. Why do you do the blood? Why do you carve your body? Why do you bleed? You know what I mean? Why scars all over you? If you can know how to wrestle, you should drop that. Like, well, this is my style. But I mean, I thank Darren, Dynamite D for teaching me how to wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, again, you can't say enough about how valuable and impactful getting trained by someone like him. Fast forwarding a little bit. Okay, you mentioned right there in that story, hey, look, you say I belong to you, but I'm not on TV yet. I'm not doing this, that. I'm just training in the school. Why can't I do a wrestling show? Okay, fine. It's the old school way. They did what they did. Fine. All right. But now you were a year and a half in your training. Little did we know at the time, XPW's expiration date, XPW 1.0's expiration date was going to be in the year 2003. Were you kind of on the verge? I asked this to Sexy Chino, to Stepfather, and they had their own stories. Were you, and Robbie Phoenix, and were you on, and Carnage too, were you on the verge of, in talks of like, hey, we're thinking of giving you a character, giving you a spot on the roster?
Yeah, I remember the paintball arena shows.
Oh yeah, X Park.
Yeah.
What a dump. Ooh.
Remember China when China dropped them off, brother?
Yeah, China dropped off
Xbox,
Sean Waltman to that show. Yep, she was.
I remember you were there. You were there. She talked to you. Remember?
Yeah, China was a part of an XPW show. Yeah, but really quick, I was going to be working with China on that Classic Wrestling Revolution, the one I was supposed to do with Roddy Piper, and then she ended up passing away. So it was just unfortunate. But yeah, she was very little I knew of her, but she was very cool. But yeah, talk about that, because you were already training for a good amount of time.
No, I graduated already.
You graduated, right? You graduated. So now it's like, okay, where's my spot on XPW TV? And who did you have that conversation with, and how did it? What were the pieces of that?
Well, I remember like I told you, the paintball arena shows, and I remember I was like one of the last remaining students that actually was there for Rob Black and Kevin Kleinrock, because they have all the other students left. Everybody left, like the Stepfather, Robbie Phoenix, Sexy Chino, Redheaded Stepchild, you know what I mean? All those guys, Youth Suicide, you know what I mean? All of them were gone. Carnage, they all were gone. And I remember they reached out to me, and I went to go help out. I was probably the last remaining student that was there helping him out. And I remember for doing that, I remember Rob and Kevin, I guess, got together, and they were going to offer me a contract. And I remember I went to go pick something up for them at Home Depot, but I took forever because I couldn't find it. You know what I'm saying? What they wanted was like some kind of weapon, I think, or something. I don't remember what it was. But it was like, but I took forever. I got lost, and they were calling me. They were blowing me up, and I wouldn't answer. You know what I mean? And I remember I got there, and you remember a guy by the name of I think he passed away. His name was Mace. They call him Dave. He also got trained by Dynamite D. You know what I mean? Okay,
yeah. I didn't know he
remember.
Passed. Okay.
I think he did. I don't know if he did. I don't,
all right. Okay.
Maybe still alive. Yeah, Mace, Dave. I remember he comes up to me. He's like, hey Marvin. He's like, you fucked up. I was like, what do you mean I fucked up? He's like, man, where were you, man? You took forever. They were calling you, they were blowing you up, and you took forever. Man, they're gonna give you a contract, man, but you fucked up, man. I don't know if they were messing around or I don't know what's going on. But I remember Rob came out and he was mad, man. He's like, "What the hell, man? What happened? Where were you? What's going on?" He's like, "Man," and you know, I'm thinking of giving you a contract. I don't know if he's joking around. I don't know what's going on. They're thinking of giving you a contract because you're the remaining last student. I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna give you a contract. You know what I mean? Just don't fuck up after this, man. And then I remember, and then XPW died, man. And that was it.
Man, just the timing, man.
But they said there were, man. I don't know if it would have happened. I mean, I believe it. Maybe it could have happened if it kept on going. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, you're right. That was XPW 1.0. It shut its doors. Of course, as we all know now, people watching Xtreme Memories, there is a new rebirth of XPW. A story for another time, XPW 3.0. But that means where was 2.0? XPW 2.0, if you remember, we're talking circa 2008, 2009, and that is the reunion shows. And the first one, a big success, was XPW's Cold Day in Hell back in May of 2008 from Redondo Beach, California. And you, my friend, definitely made your mark performing at XPW on an XPW show. Talk a little bit about that, because that was the match where it was supposed to be East meets West. The original Gangstas, Mustafa, and New Jack going against West, the West Siders, NGZ, with Chronic and the late great pay homage to the big guy, Big Rod, who's not with us anymore. But that match, that dream kind of tag team match, XPW West, ECW East, Gangstas match, there was a little friction in the back. And a lot of that, let's be honest, it had to do with New Jack and the fear of getting into the ring with him. So the West Siders were, after talks, after getting, you know, everything settled in the back, they weren't satisfied, and they didn't have reassurance that they were going to be okay. And so now talk a little bit about that, how you kind of come into the fold right there. And basically you have your XPW moment. It's on a big show, and it's against a legend like New Jack, and you were there, man.
Oh yeah, I remember I was supposed to be on the Dynamite D Battle Royal. You know what I mean? That's where Kevin and Mike hit me up, and they told me they wanted me, because I was a student from Dynamite D, they wanted me to take part of that. You know what I mean? And I said, yeah, man, I'll do it. And I remember doing it, but then after that, I remember Mike called me personally on my phone, and then he's like, hey, Kevin wants to talk to you. Here's his number. You call him. And I remember him saying, hey brother, there's some problem with the West Siders. They don't wanna bleed, they don't feel safe with the Gangsters, blah blah blah. Hey, is it cool if you want to work their spot? You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, man. He's like, we're gonna get another guy, and you're gonna work New Jack and Mustafa Saeed. I was like, yeah, man, no problem, I'll do it. And then I remember getting the spot, and then New Jack was cool with me, and then Mustafa was cool with me. They were cool in the back. The guy that originally was my partner was BC Killer. He was kind of in the back, you know what I mean. But I remember calling him, hey man, they're cool, man. They're. And then he started getting more comfortable, and then we started talking. We went over what we were supposed to do. They give us. They didn't totally squash us. You know what I mean? They give us. We got stuff on them. They got stuff on us. I remember getting gruesome, great color for New Jack and Mustafa. Oh yeah, man, it was drenched. You were there, brother. You commentated the match. You know what I mean? Gruesome color, man. It was like piles of blood, man.
And you guys fought all over the arena too.
Yeah, man. I got to fork him. I forked Mustafa. I remember hitting him with the chair, going through the balcony, throwing him around. They got back. I remember getting forked by New Jack. Him putting it was a disco ball in between my private, brother, and then smashing it. I took a big bump, man, and I remember you were calling us, what were you calling us? Trash boys, or
a couple of garbage pail kids.
Yeah, but I gotta thank you for this one, brother, because I remember you calling me out by my gimmick name. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that. Yeah. You took it on your own to do that, and I thank you for that, for doing that.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. Well, dude, you earned it that day, that's for sure, man. And look, man, a lot of guys were, look, man, let's, rest in peace. But a lot of guys were afraid to get in the ring with him. And
Yeah.
you step up to the plate, and what a show to do it on, because that was a very good show. It came off really well, got a lot of good reviews. It was done very well through Big Vision Entertainment. The production was top notch, and it was just a good. I felt for you personally to have gone through all you went through in XPW, the Asylum, and all that, never getting that shot, and to get a shot like that. What did it mean to you to be in the ring knowing you're in there with some guy with the notoriety of New Jack?
Oh, it was an honor, man, and a pleasure, man. And I carry that with me for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And it's on DVD, brother. You know what I'm saying? I own the DVD too. It's like I watch it all the time, and I show people, and they trip out like, "Oh wow, man, you're really you were in the ring with the Gangstas, man. You know, the original ECW Gangstas. You know, it's crazy."
Yeah. Yeah, and they went all out, man. It wasn't just a squash, dude. It was all
No, it
out.
wasn't. It wasn't. They let us get a lot of stuff in for against them. You know what I mean? That was cool. Well, New Jack has the reputation of hurting people and messing people up. He was a real nice guy, calm guy. And he's like, "Hey, man, yeah, man, we're not gonna squash you. We're gonna let you do get some offense on us. You know."
Cool, man. Yeah, no, it was great, dude. And where were you, Mr. California? Where were you? Because we didn't see you the following year at the 10-year reunion, XPW X in Hollywood. Do you remember what the deal was there? Because I mean, you figured you would have been a part of that, being that you did well at a Cold Day in Hell. Was that your decision, theirs, or just?
No. They didn't reach out to me. I mean, no one reached out to me. You know what I'm saying? And that was fine. So I mean, I didn't say that about it. You know what I mean?
Okay, fair enough, man. So let me ask you this, man, and once again, Mr. California, thanks for joining us, man. It's good. And you went on to, after XPW was done, you took what you learned, you took your experience, and you actually created your own company, like you see right there, XWW, Extreme World Wrestling. So that you took the monitor, the X, and you kind of live that out yourself, and you've gone against, to count with New Jack on that list, you've gone against a lot of legends, Necro, Butcher, and the list goes on.
Oh yeah, man. Big people like Nick Gage, JC Bailey, rest in peace of soul, Adam Bueller, brother, Sexy Eddie, people like the Almighty Sheik, I wrestled Carnage, Youth Suicide. The rest of people like Too Tough Tony, Corporal Robinson, brother. You name the list, brother. Drake Younger, a lot of names, brother. You know what I mean? I've been in the ring with it.
And you've since have gone to Japan. You've gone to places like that to wrestle too, right?
Yeah, exactly, man.
That's pretty cool, man.
And I, you know what? It's a shame too. You were there, but I was supposed to be last year's Carnage Cup, man. And Faith happened with my daughter and myself, but I was supposed to be at Carnage Cup, and then I should have tore it up for Kevin Brandon, man.
Yeah, hopefully down the road that'll happen, man. Shout out to the guys at IWA Deep South and Kevin.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this now, man. As we wrap things up, I just want to first off thank you again, Mr. Cali, for being on Extreme Memories. Finally, to get you on the show. Let me ask you this: overall, your thoughts on Mr. Rob Black?
Rob Black. Well, man, I mean, the guy's a genius, man. And he's like, I mean, I know that everybody knows the gimmick with Paul Heyman, how he gave girls to him and stuff like that. And but I mean, he took a company named XPW and built it into an empire, brother. You know what I mean? And he created something big. You know what I mean? It's like for that, I respect him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he may have his demons, and he went to jail. He had the porn company, Extreme Associates, and got him into trouble, and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's like, and and he had his own dark side of the ring too, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he was on the dark side of the ring. But I mean, it's like he created something that that I care and love in XPW, and it's like, I'll never forget. I was part of it, and like you like to say in your past shows, man, in the infancy days, the in the beginning days, brother. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like, and I was part of it. I was there like almost in the beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you can't take that away from me. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all, man. And that leads me into the final question, man, which is, in your mind, you were there backstage in front of the camera eventually, and then you went and did your own thing, XWW.
Yeah.
What in your mind will be and is the legacy of XPW?
I mean, it's never gonna be what it used to be. You know what I mean? Like back in 1999 or 2000s. You know what I'm saying? And you were there from the beginning. But it's like we'll see what happens with the new version. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully I can be part of it. You know what I mean? I've been talking to Rob. You know what I mean? Hopefully I can be part of it. I think I'll fit good in that category. And I mean, I don't want to say, but he still kind of owes me. You know what I'm saying? For like for being a student. For being a student, and I mean, I hope he watches this too. You could give it to him. You know, he still owes me. You know what I mean? For being a student and offered me a contract back in the day in the paintball arena days. But now, I mean, hopefully, he gives me a contract and maybe I could do something and build it up. You know what I mean? And see how it was. You know what I mean? Because I like to be a part of it, man. And hopefully, and like people like to say, it's a one thing. It's maybe it was a one-time show, but it's not, brother. It's gonna keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, only time will tell, man. Mr. California, I want to thank you once again for joining me on Xtreme Memories. And before we go,
check it out, man. Buy my action figure, brother. Look at that, my action figure, bro.
Well, hey, man. hey, that's what I was going to ask you. You got any plugs or any shout outs right now?
Oh, man, keychains. I got keychains, brother. Look at that. Keychains, brother.
He's hawking everything right now. Call the 800 number on your screen right now.
Big knife, brother. Look at that big knife.
Oh,
yeah, man. You can follow on my Instagram, Mr. California UV, or you can follow me on Facebook under my real name, Marvin Mercado, or also you can on Twitter, Mr. California UV. I mean, I got up and coming shows coming up, you know what I'm saying, and hopefully you'll see me at the new XPW, man. Hopefully down the line, you know.
And how do we find? Is that where we go to find out information about XWW Extreme World Wrestling?
Oh no, you go to the Facebook. It's Facebook / the XWW Pro.
Facebook / the XWW Pro. All right.
Yeah.
And any shout outs you want to shout out to anybody before we sign off?
Just to my daughter, man. My girl, and pretty much my family. You know what I mean? And Kris Kloss, that I know since I was 17 years old, man. I met you backstage at the LA Sports Arena.
I remember, man. You're a little kid. You were a high school kid, and I think you kind of called me over. The security was telling you to leave, and I told him, no, tell him to come in. I think something like that, right?
No, it was like I sneaked in the bag, brother. And you were talking to somebody, and I remember, hey, Kris Kloss, and I remember you saying, oh, hey, what's up, man? And you didn't know who the hell I was, but you act like you knew me. And I remember the security guard was coming by, and he said, hey, who is this guy? Is he? Yeah, he's with me, bro. He's part of the team. Don't worry about it. And you saved me that day. And I remember getting your number. We started talking. We became friends, and then after that, the rest is history, man.
Well, I just remembered myself doing the same thing, trying to sneak back into WWF shows or whatever. So I wanted to pay it forward and like, okay, look at this guy's doing what I used to do. So let's get him back here. But hey, man, it's great talking to you, Mr. California, Marvin, and I hope to see you soon. And all the best to you, your family, and everything you're doing with XWW Extreme World Wrestling. We'll put links in the comments below where you can go to find out more information about XWW. Mr. California, thank you very much.
Hey, I appreciate for having me on, brother. Finally on Xtreme Memories, man. I've been watching you from the beginning. You're a good friend, man. I appreciate you, man, and keep doing your thing. Hey, and by the way, maybe you actually have the record of longest commentary single, brother, for like almost 7 hours, man. Hey, kudos, man. My respects to that, man.
Thanks, man. Actually, I just got confirmation. Dave Meltzer actually loosely confirmed that I guess I hold the world record now as the longest show to be broadcast by a solo announcer in pro wrestling history, a live show, no post-production. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, and thank you fans that have brought it up on Facebook. It's pretty cool. So thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has yet been another episode of Xtreme Memories, which you can find right here on the Wrestling Chatter YouTube channel on the 15th and the 30th of every single month. Subscribe today if you haven't, Mr. California. Thank you very much. Folks, we'll see you right here next time.
Oh, snap.
Snap.
Thank you for watching Xtreme Memories, hosted by Kris Kloss. He's dropping new episodes every month on the 15th and 30th. You can be the first to tune in by subscribing to the Wrestling Chatter channel right here on YouTube. See you next time.